Most people struggle to be more social, more outgoing, and talking to guys and girls because they don't warm up. All right? Just like anything in life, you need to warm up before you actually put on a performance, whether it be talking to girls, talking to people in the gym, out the gym, in a sport, whatever it may be, you have to warm up. People neglect this, especially when it comes to talking, and they think it's just natural that you could just have a normal conversation without any type of stuttering, especially if you've never met someone in your life, all right? I had this problem when I was younger. It was kind of hard for me to talk to people because I just felt like, I don't know what to say, right? So the most important aspect is to gain momentum so then you can actually talk and not have a problem, okay? So the first step in this whole process, I call this the momentum method, is starting to talk to yourself first, because this eliminates any risk of other people hearing you so you actually feel a bit more comfortable, all right? So talk to yourself. Tell yourself how great of a day you're having, how awesome you are as a person, maybe your recent accomplishments, how good of a sleep you had, if you had a good gym session, how sick the gym session was, how the weather is, something just to hype yourself up or give yourself something positive to look forward to or to talk about. This is important because it starts your social engine. It starts moving, your brain starts moving, your mouth, how to actually, start talking, all right? It's the first thing. Next thing you want to do is you want to start complimenting people around you, all right? Maybe people in the elevator, maybe people you're walking by, tell them you got a nice dog, I love your dog, nice shirt, sick shirt, something stupid, something really, really small just to have a conversation. Not even a conversation, just like a quick, like 2-3 sentence thing. It could even be, hi, how's your day going? Something super small, but that's a really open-ended question. You kind of want to do something just like a compliment or a comment, okay? Once you build that, you're kind of just building these little scenarios in your head where you're actually, stacking mini proofs of you already being social. So your brain is convincing yourself that you're in a social mood, okay? So it's all about tricking your brain and warming up to be the more social version of yourself, right? Because as an example, when you wake up, the last thing you want to do is talk to people, at least for me. So as you're warming up, now you have to go and talk to a person from the opposite sex, okay? Whether it be a girl or a guy, I don't know who is watching this video, but if you are a guy, go talk to an ugly girl, a girl you don't find attractive. Go and tell her something about her dress. Go tell her something about her face, her eyes, her hair, something stupid, Tell her, give her a compliment, all right? This eliminates now the fear of talking to someone that's not your friend or someone that's, maybe just like your opposite sex, right? So that eliminates that fear. So now you're building even more confidence in your head subconsciously that you can talk to these people. And it doesn't have to be a fully fledged conversation. It can be if you want, but most of the time I find that just a couple sentences is fine to build up this momentum, right? Once you've done this with maybe 2 or 3 girls, then you can go and talk to the person you actually want to talk to. Now you've sufficiently warmed up your social engine, your mouth, your confidence to where any other social interaction is going to be way smoother and way easier, right? So if I told you to go up to a girl without talking to any girl before, in like, I don't know, you're out in a bar or whatever, it's way harder than if you already talked to 4 or 5 girls. So you would just have to get over that initial hump of not being warmed up to then being warmed up and having everything flow, because the initial part is always the hardest, because that's what people think. They think they're antisocial, they think they're anxious because they just never make that first step. And in order to make that first step feel as chill as possible, you want to just start talking to yourself. And even for that, some people it's a little tough, but you generally just want to be as confident as you can when you start talking to yourself, telling yourself every positive thing that's going for you in that day, and then you have to translate that energy into talking to people you don't know, and then maybe people from the opposite sex, and then people you actually want to talk to. So this whole method is based on the idea of warming up, right? And people, just like lifting, if you go and you hit a lift and you don't warm up, there's a chance you can hit a good lift, but for the most part, the longevity and the actual efficiency of the lift is obviously going to be better if you warm up. It's the same thing with talking. Sometimes you can spit insane game, you can spit insane words to everyone just because you're in a great mood, but most of the time, if you want to stay consistent, you have to understand that momentum is the only way that's going to get you to being way more social, way more outgoing, okay? You have a social engine. I believe everyone has a social engine in them. It just needs to be warmed up, all right? So if you like this video, like that shit, comment, and I'll be out for another video shortly. Maybe up to do 2 videos this week. I don't know. We'll see. But hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, write it down in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer. And yeah.